Okay, for this third video tutorial for MLA, dealing with works cited, there are so many variations and so many different aspects of this that it's really impossible to cover in a short period of time. However, I will let you in on a big secret. You don't have to have this stuff memorized. It is absolutely okay to go and get references and get step-by-step guides on how to do it if you're not sure. Writers do that all the time, and that's what we're going to do when it comes to dealing with works cited, specifically how you cite stuff in text, and also if you have questions on how to format stuff in your works cited page if you're not sure. Now, Purdue OWL, which is a website, it's fantastic. So what I've done on our Moodle page here is there's our Moodle page, yay! Here's a link to the works cited reference page. Now, for whatever reason, I couldn't get the link to go directly to the page. So if you click on this, it'll download a Word document, which looks like this, and that'll give you the web address. So you're just going to copy that. Again, I couldn't get it to go directly to there, so I just went old school. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and paste that into a new tab. Boom. Hit enter, and it'll bring up this wonderful page. This is going to be your new best friend when it comes to MLA formatting if you use it for anything, even more than this English class. Okay, so over here, now we kind of looked at this already a little bit in the second video. So in this third video, here's some basic stuff before. So we talked about the works cited page and how to format it. So this shows specifically how you do it for books, for periodicals, for electronic sources. Most of what you're going to be doing is probably electronic sources. So if you just say, okay, well, how do I format it for my electronic sources? Well, if you just click on this, then it'll show you examples, and specifically notice that it says right here that you don't have to include the web address anymore because, as it says, these change over time and it may not matter, but you need to make sure you put at least that information. But it shows you specifically how you do certain things and gives you examples of how you cite, if you're going to cite from a web page, depending on the information, because sometimes like if you get this information from, let's say, WebMD, you may not know who the author is. So if you don't know who the author is, what do? Well, then you put the name of the article first. So this has all the different variations. And you don't have to memorize all these. You can just look and to find out what you need. Now, when it comes to doing in-text citations, we're going to just do the basics. So you can click on here. Now remember, whenever you make a statement or a claim in your paper, you need to back it up with proof. You just can't say, well, this is this fact just because it is. No, you need to back it up with proof, and that's where your research comes in. So once you decide that you're going to make a statement, okay, you're going to tell us where you got it from. Now, that's what this does. So when you're inside your text, and I'll have a document that shows how to do this, but you'll be writing. And then if you decide, let's say you decide to quote Wordsworth here. So in your paper you write, Wordsworth stated the romantic poetry was marked by, and then you're going to quote him, so as soon as you start to quote him directly, okay, then that stuff goes in quotes. Now notice, it may seem like it's a picky thing, but notice that there's no period after the quote. Instead, you're going to have this number inside parentheses and then the period. What that means is that this quote was found on page 263. This is inside the text. This is inside your actual paper. This isn't on the works cited page. But what that means is that if I'm reading your paper and I'm going to be like, oh, okay, well, the writer of the paper is quoting Wordsworth. So if I want to go, then I'll go to the works cited page. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find, well, it's not listed here. Because this is done alphabetically, I'm going to be able to find Wordsworth, again, it's not on this page, then find exactly what the name of the book was or whatever, and all the information, so I can go look at that. That's that thing that says 263, that's what page number it's on. Okay? Now, notice that we just have the number there because we're telling you right here who said this. Now, let's say you decide not to tell the person. You just to say, okay, well, let's just say romantic poetry is characterized by the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Okay, now notice that we never say anything that Wordsworth said this. But we want to let you know, hey, where did this quote come from? Well, then we would add his name, his last name only, right there, and then the number. So again, I can go to the works cited page and say, oh, okay, that's where they got it from. Or if you don't quote them directly, you don't have to quote them directly. For example, Wordsworth extensively explored the role of emotion in the creative process. You can kind of summarize it, okay, and then just tell me where you got that information from, because I mean, as far as I know, you just made this up, okay, but you found it somewhere. And so I can go, oh, Wordsworth, and then I can look the works cited, and then there's that page. So, and then you can see there's like the works cited, line that it would be from. So that's kind of how it would look in the thing. So again, works cited has the information of where you found it. Now, one note about quotes. Okay, some students, bless their hearts, decide, oh, I've got to write 4 pages, so I'm going to say, Professor Morgan stated, and then they'll have like 5 paragraphs quoted from Professor Morgan. Yeah, no. That is absolutely inappropriate. You're not writing a paper. You're just copying and pasting what other people said then. Quotes should be short, to the point, and they should enhance your paper, not be the full part of your paper. So if all you're doing is having this person said and then have a gigantic quote from somebody, that is not appropriate. That's not really writing a research paper. Now, so if you're like, oh my gosh, but I'm not quoting from a book or I'm quoting from a source, this shows what happens. Well, what happens if you don't know the author for in-text citations, or if it's a corporate author, or from a print source with no author. Literary works, if there's authors with the same last name. So let's say you found 2 Professor Morgans and you want to quote both of them. Again, you don't have to memorize this. You don't have to that's not the point. You can go to your resources. This is a great thing. You're like, okay, well, I'm trying to cite the Bible. Okay, well, how would I cite the Bible? You just look. All this information is here. Okay? And, citing non-print sources from the internet. How do you do that? Okay? So again, this is how you would find that you do it. But the point again being is that in your papers, when you make a statement and you're going to use MLA formatting, you have to cite where that information came from. If you don't, then it's basically you've lost credibility, because it's like, as far as we know, you're making it up. Again, so this is a huge resource. Use it to help you get your stuff in order to make sure it's formatted correctly, and refer back to it often. I'd bookmark this if I were you. All right, there you go.